Donald Trump's eldest son goes under oath in the $250 million civil fraud trial against the former president and his family business. Donald Trump Jr. took the stand late today in a New York courtroom, and before he testified, managed to do what he loves to do most, crack a joke.
I should have worn makeup.
Today, prosecutors focused on his job running the Trump family business with his younger brother, Eric, a role his father announced before entering the White House back in 2017.
My two sons, who are right here, Don and Eric, are going to be running the company. They are going to be running it in a very professional manner. They're not going to discuss it with me. These papers are just some of the many documents that I've signed, turning over complete and total control to my sons.
Donald Trump Jr. is not just a witness in the case, he's also a defendant, along with his brother and his dad. NBC's Laura Jarrett has more on today's testimony.
Tonight, the former president's eldest son inside a Manhattan courtroom. Donald Trump Jr., the first of his siblings to testify in a $250 million civil fraud lawsuit against the family's real estate business. New York's Attorney General accusing the Republican frontrunner, his sons, and his company of inflating assets to get better terms on loans and insurance, pointing to Don Jr.'s signature on documents certifying the accuracy of the company's financial statements, which include assets like Mr. Trump's apartment in Manhattan, listed as 30,000 square feet, when it's actually a third of that size. Today, he was pressed by the state about his role as executive vice president of the Trump Organization. Don Jr. saying he relied on outside accountants who prepared the financial statements. He's blasted the suit from the Democratic Attorney General and the judge, also a Democrat, as a partisan kangaroo court.
It doesn't matter what general practices in business would be. It doesn't matter. They have a narrative, they have an end goal, and they'll do whatever it takes to get there.
The judge has already ruled in the state's favor on the central fraud claim. Much of the trial is to determine what, if any, punishment should be handed down. Meanwhile, the former president has said he's done nothing wrong, and again slamming the judge, posting, quote, "Leave my children alone."
Donald Trump Jr. is expected to return to the stand tomorrow. Eric Trump is also slated to testify on Thursday. The former president is set to appear on Monday, and right now his daughter Ivanka is scheduled to testify next Wednesday. Meanwhile, a federal judge in Florida is considering giving Trump exactly what he wants, delaying his upcoming classified documents trial. It's supposed to begin on May 20th, but Trump, no surprise, wants it postponed until after the 2024 election.